Hello everybody, welcome back to Screen Stars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2020 bleak science fiction film Edge of Extinction. Now this is a film that was written and directed by Andrew Gilbert, and it stars Luke Hobson, Georgie Smibbert, Chris Kay, Susan Lee Burton, Neil Somerville, Nicholas Chambers and Brian Hodgson. Now this is a British-made science fiction film that focuses on a bleak future, basically. I think it's set 15 years after World War III, and mankind essentially is on the brink. All that exists in the world now is looting and violence and cannibalism, and it's a really bleak and horrific existence. And there are essentially three survivors who meet. There is Luke Hobson's character, who's simply named the Boy, who lives on his own. He's lost everyone. He spends his days collecting water and looking for supplies and trying to live in safety and seclusion. However, he brings Georgie Smibbert's character, the girl, into his life thinking he's helping, and he ends up getting robbed. This leads him to leave his safe existence to head out to try and face down his robbers, but all in the while they don't realise that they're heading for a clash-on collision with the local cannibals that rule this area with an iron fist. That's the basic premise of the film that we're talking about here. What are my thoughts on Edge of Extinction? Well, this is a low-budget science fiction film. However, it's actually one of those low-budget science fiction films where you can tell that every single penny has been put on screen. There's been some lovely attention to detail put into this film by the use of the budget that they have, and by that I mean the music score here is fine. It really helps the film. It's nothing fantastic, but it really helps. I've seen low budget films where the music score makes the film feel really cheap. That's not the case here. The music score helps this film. The cinematography at times really helps the film. The location really helps the film. They've really done a good job scouting out the locations and things like that. And it really does feel like an awful bleak future that no one would want to live in, and it must be hell to survive in. And they really get that message across in this film particularly well. It's got an impressive script here, and the thing I think that makes this film stand out is the three main leads here. They've all got really interesting arcs, character arcs here. None of them are particularly nice people. I mean, Luke Hobson's character, the Boy, he's trying to live innocently and quietly and in a seclusive way, but he's forced to enter this world. But the other two characters, like this girl and this boy, are not nice characters. They basically rob people to get by and kill and murder, but they have to work together to face off this even bigger enemy of these cannibals. And they're really interesting character arcs, especially for Chris Kay's character, who at the beginning of the film I promise you will detest, and you're not that keen on him throughout the film, but promise you by the end you'll be with him and on his side, as you will these three characters. Really cleverly done. They could have just put faceless, nameless characters into this film and give them tasks to do, and you wouldn't care. Consequently, because they've been written well and portrayed with this character arc, you care about these characters, and that is the biggest success of this film. Makes you care. So the things that don't work in this film you could kind of forgive an awful lot, because so much effort has been put into these other areas of the film. The main issue with this film, I think, is it's too long. It's the pacing. It's over 2 hours long. And there are there's watching it, you can see bits you think we don't need that. There's quite a few flashback sequences that I don't think we needed some of them. I think they could have been trimmed to make it to pick up the pace of the film and make the film improve the pacing of the film, because I do think occasionally it harms the film. But other than that, for a low budget science fiction film, I think this this film does a really good job of projecting this image into your mind of what a potential future could look like if World War III had kicked off, and how it would be to survive, and nobody would want to live in that world. It's not a glamorous world they're depicting here at all. It really isn't. It's actually a very dark, brutal and gritty film, but at times very poignant too. There are a couple of really emotional, moving moments in the film that I think really worked, helped the film again, increased your interest in these characters. So it's a cleverly made film in that sense, and it does hide some of its potholes in the film and things like that. But for the most part, I really enjoyed it. I mean, it doesn't hold back with the violence either. It is particularly brutal and violent at times, and savage, and it on one side of it, it shows the worst of what humankind is capable of, and on the other hand, it shows you what humans are capable of in regards to compassion, and things like that. So from my perspective, this was a nice surprise. I wasn't expecting to enjoy this as much as I did. There are some issues with it, and it's clear when you watch it that it's a low budget film, but I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. I think it was well made, well written, really good characters for the most part, impressive performances that work for the film, and it is something to watch that I think you will probably enjoy if you're into these sort of films. So yeah, I would suggest giving it a go. I was pleasantly surprised by this film. So that is my review for Edge of Extinction. It's also known as The Brink, I believe, but in the UK it's Edge of Extinction. So that is my review. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for watching, everybody.